Alright, everybody, what's going on? It's Thundershot, and we are back once again, and today I'm actually going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super, in case you guys don't know. There hasn't been any Dragon Ball Super up on this channel until this point, because I was having some issues. Number one, a lot of YouTubers, including myself, on past videos that I had made from months and months ago, like Super Episode 1, 2, and 3. My Dragon Ball Super Episode 1, 2, and 3 reviews, discussion topics, things like that from months ago, were getting content claimed by Toei. And I was lucky enough to not be getting strikes or anything taken down, but I was getting third-party claims. So it's just bottom line, third-party claim is still not something that's good if you're a YouTuber. So until I was able to figure out some kind of situation where I wasn't going to get automatically third-party claimed by a robot that had no right to claim my videos just because Dragon Ball Super was in the title of them, I wasn't going to make any Dragon Ball Super videos. I have got that sorted out now. And I actually binged watched Dragon Ball Super this morning. Every episode I hadn't seen, all the way up to current. I think we're on episode 15, 16, something like that. All the way up until then. Now, I did review Dragon Ball Super episode 1, 2, and 3. It had been a while since I'd seen them, but I kind of wanted to go ahead and give my overall thoughts on the series and where it's at, and how I think it's gone so far. And then I've got a couple potential video topic ideas for you guys in the future. I'll ask about, see if you guys enjoy it. Just a couple things I wrote down that caught my eye on the way through. Pretty much, obviously, it's a retelling of Battle of Gods, just Battle of Gods over again. A little bit more stretched out. Few very minor things changed, really, but a little bit more stretched out. You get a little bit more in-depth look at the characters, a little bit more banner, this and that, whatnot. Just imagine everything in Battle of Gods, but taking longer in a not the worst possible way, you know what I mean? Just because it takes longer doesn't mean it's bad necessarily. It just means that they get to go into further detail on some things and explain a few things a little bit more, and definitely change some stuff. Like I said, it's all pretty much minor, but some stuff definitely changed, whether it be through certain dialogue options, what characters say to each other, how they say it to each other. Different feel in a couple scenes that I'll get to. Fight scenes have gone differently a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. A couple things that just stuck out to me in my mind. And he said it, Beerus said it in the movie. This is me being nitpicky. This first one's not even a real topic. It's just me being nitpicky. But he said it in the movie. He said it again in Dragon Ball Super. And it's just something that bugs me. And I feel like it's something that just bugs me personally. And a lot of people will be like, oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's an inconsistency that just bothers me a little bit. Is Beerus looks at Goku, and both times, I'm going to do a lot of contrast to Battle of Gods, because obviously it's just the same thing that we've seen before, but slightly different. I'm gonna do a lot of contrast to Battle of Gods, but in Battle of Gods and in Dragon Ball Super, when they're on King Kai's planet, when Beerus, Whis, Goku, and King Kai are all on King Kai's planet, Beerus tells Goku that he's like, oh, you beat Frieza, but it doesn't look like it'd be possible for you to beat Frieza in this form. I don't know if that's Beerus trying to bait out Goku's Super Saiyan, or if Beerus is honestly saying that. But if Beerus is honestly saying that, even though the first time around it took Goku Super Saiyan form to beat Frieza, he would definitely not need to go Super Saiyan at the point that he is, at how strong his base power got, and considering at this point Fukatsu no F hasn't happened, so Frieza hasn't gotten any stronger. Goku's base would be more than enough to mop the floor with Frieza. So I'm just going to assume that's Beerus trying to bait out Goku using Super Saiyan, but he said it in both, and it bothered me because Goku could totally mop the floor with Frieza, even in his base form at that point. Oh, the animation. Sorry, my handwriting is garbage, so I have trouble reading my own handwriting. The animation in episode 5 was a huge complaint that a lot of people. That's around the time I stopped watching. I think I hadn't seen episode 4 because that was a Pilaf in the Gang episode. But that was around the time I hadn't watched Super, or I stopped watching Super, and then all the tweets about episode 5's awful animation came out. I didn't know if it was going to be like more of an internet meme than anything, or if if the animation was actually awful. The animation was actually horrid in episode 5. I don't know what the hell happened there, but that fight is 1,000%. Like, that could have been a way cooler moment, but honestly, the animation in 5 was so bad it killed it for me. I would 100% just rather see Battle of Gods shorter fight, because the animation is stellar on that, and the fight scene comes off amazing. But yeah, animation was complete and total garbo in episode 5. I think a little bit so in episode 6. However, any animation complaints after episode 6 is just people going frame by frame. It's people legitimately watching their Dragon Ball Super episode 1 frame at a time, trying to find that one frame where Beerus' face looks a little weird or Goku looks kind of funny, and then screenshotting that and uploading it to Twitter, be like, wow, DBZ Super's animation's still so bad. No, I don't know what happened episode 5 and 6, a little bit of 6. Talk shit on episode 5 all you want. Any animation complaints after that, no, I don't see it. I don't see it. They definitely straightened up and fixed their animations after episode 5, but no, that one was just awful. That was straight horrid. Once again, Yamcha's God. Anytime he's in the clip, it's immediately a billion times better, especially when he slapped Beerus in the back of the head. No Fun Time Bingo from Vegeta, and I know a lot of Vegeta fans are probably like, fuck yeah, fuck Fun Time Bingo. It made Vegeta look stupid. And to me, Fun Time Bingo and Battle of Gods, that was like a highlight moment. I mean, you got to pick 3 highlight moments. Fun Time Bingo is almost in every single person's top 3 of Battle of Gods. You know what I mean? And there was no Fun Time Bingo or anything like that. There was some kind of similar replacement where Vegeta had to play a chef, but I don't think it was nearly as epic as Fun Time Bingo, if I do say so myself. And even though a lot of people were going to be happy because Vegeta looked less stupid with Fun Time Bingo not being there, because it was stretched out and prolonged more of Vegeta waiting on Beerus hand and foot trying to keep him happy, I feel like Vegeta came off as more of a bitch, kind of doing everything that Beerus wanted him to and going out of his way to fry up an octopus and get octopus balls. Like, the Fun Time Bingo moment wasn't there, but everything else he did was worse, and there was more of it because it's stretched out because it's Dragon Ball Super. So I don't know. Just something I wanted to point out there. Kind of miss Fun Time Bingo, is all. Apparently, well, according to what Beerus said, and I think there's been a lot of back and forth between different tubers and people on Twitter and things like that, but according to what Beerus said in a rough English translation of the Japanese, because there hasn't been any official translation to English yet, it's all fan stuff, but when Vegeta had his My Bulma moment, when Bulma went up and slapped Beerus, and Beerus knocked Bulma back, and Vegeta gets all pissed off, has his My Bulma moment, apparently Beerus had to crank his power up to somewhere near or right at 10%, which is finally something we can gauge it off of. You know what I mean? If Vegeta at that point gave a better fight than Super Saiyan 3 Goku did, but that's like the best he could possibly do, and he made Beerus knock 10%, that's actually something you could start gauging it off of. That kind of tells you where Vegeta would be if they were to fuse, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like in a way, I feel like there are guesses at power levels. I haven't worked any of it out myself. I would need to look at it a little bit more and try to go back and rewatch some Fusion to see if I can get some kind of rough idea on how strong it is. But yeah, definitely the 10% thing helps a little bit, and I think we needed clarification on that, because all we really got was Goku got his ass kicked, Vegeta got a couple hits in when he was super raged, but then got his ass kicked, and Goku said that even if he fused with Vegeta, they still wouldn't be anywhere close to beating Beerus. Goku says that in the extended version of the movie of Battle of Gods. He also does say that in Dragon Ball Super. I'm glad they put that line in there. But Goku straight up says, if I fused with Vegeta, we still couldn't beat Beerus. So that is something I wanted to point out just to make sure they clarified there. Episode 9, Beerus mentions another universe's wish orbs. He said those look like the wish orbs from another universe. I'm assuming referring to the Dragon Ball Super Balls or whatever, the Super Dragon Balls, I think, as they're going to come to be known. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see how all that stuff plays out. But Beerus does mention that in episode 9. So the Super Saiyan God transformation takes pretty much an entire episode, and that's episode 9. So if you want to see, and it's a little bit different too, just a little bit, but it's worth it. If you want to see more of a stretched out, this is all. I was going off this like, if I had seen Battle of Gods, what would I even want to watch Super for? That was my mind. It wasn't my mindset on why would I even want to watch it. I wanted to watch Super. It was just after comparing. I kept comparing the two the whole time in my head. I was like, well, how did this happen in Battle of Gods? Well, how did this happen in Battle of Gods? Which was better? Which was worse? And then the whole Super Saiyan God transformation thing is, if you want to see that stretched out, and if you want to see it go into more detail and a whole lot more animation, not like the animation is not necessarily better, because movie quality is almost always going to be better in that regard, but different animations. There was a bunch of weather scene changes. It looked like the day passed over 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But the Super Saiyan God transformation took a whole episode. And it's just one of those things where if that's something that you enjoy being in more detail, you're going to like that episode. Episode 10, the actual fighting starts. And to me, honestly, at this point, if I was going to recommend, if someone was like, well, I haven't seen Battle of Gods or Super, what would you recommend I do? It's going to be kind of weird. If you want all the details possible, really, then watch like the first episode or 2 of Super, because they go in a little bit more detail with like the fish, the magical orb fish or whatever that told Beerus about his dream that he remembered. And then goes a little bit more about Whis, a little bit more about Beerus, and then watch Battle of Gods after that. Just turn on Battle of Gods, watch all of Battle of Gods. Extended version would even help a little bit more. And then go back and start Dragon Ball Super on either episode 9 if you give a shit about the transformation being or stretched out a little bit more. If you give a shit about going into a little bit more detail about Super Saiyan God, start Super on episode 9. If not, start Super on episode 10, because there's almost no difference between Super other than it being a little bit longer. Between Super and Battle of Gods to that point. The only difference really that sticks out is they're on a boat. Instead of being in Bulma's backyard, they're on a boat. They're on the SS Princess Bulma. It was the name of the ship, and I thought that was funny. But no, that's really it. I got a different vibe from the Beerus and Vegeta relationship just a little bit. Beerus kind of came off as more of an asshole when he first saw Vegeta. He was like holding him down, like with his mind and shit. I don't know. It was weird, but I didn't like it as much. I didn't like the relationship or the vibe I was getting from Beerus as much in Super as I was Battle of Gods. But yeah, that's it. If you really care about details, watch episode 1 and or 2 of Super. If you don't care about details, skip those. Watch Battle of Gods or Battle of Gods extended cut. Watch the whole thing to see the fight scenes and everything and how the movie ends and plays out. And then go back and start Super on episode 10. Because that's where the fight scenes start again, and the fight is almost completely different, in every regard, except for a few key points. They kept all the key points in there, you know what I mean? They kept when Goku loses his Super Saiyan God transformation and then starts fighting as regular Goku again. They kept how it ended in a way. They kept, a few key points in there, but there was a lot. There's more in the Super fight. I don't want to necessarily say it's better, but there's more of it. There were a couple parts that they didn't upset me, but they didn't strike me as right. And it actually worried me for a minute when the Goku and Beerus fight hadn't been going on very long. There wasn't a whole lot of actual like fighting going on. It was Goku would bite Beerus's tail, and then Beerus would pull Goku's nose, and then Goku would yell in Beerus's ear, and they were trying to pass that off as fighting. And for a little bit, I got legitimately upset because I thought that's what their whole fight was going to be. And that was going to cheese me off. But no, they definitely, after that, there were like 5 full episodes of Goku and Beerus fighting, so I got over it pretty quick. But it did worry me for a minute because I like the humor in Super, I really do. And then some of like I don't want to say childish stuff, but just some of the lighthearted, humorous stuff they do. But once it started dragging into a very important fight, it upset me a little bit, but it, like I said, it went away really quickly, and then there was just like 5 straight episodes of nothing but them fighting. Goku seemed to have a lot better handle on Beerus. He seemed to be a lot closer to Beerus's power level. We come to find out that may or may not have not been true at all in the end, but for the sake of making a better fight in Super, for the sake of making it a closer fight where Beerus doesn't clearly have the advantage the entire time, I think Dragon Ball Super did a really good job with that. Like I said, Goku it looked like he had a better handle on Beerus the whole time, and they were both holding back, but they keep releasing a little bit more of their power. All of a sudden, Beerus says he's at 100%. Goku says, okay, I'm going to go to 100% too. They still have a really close fight. That Beerus just barely has the edge on. The only real difference is it just looked like Goku burned out quicker than Beerus. As far as when they were fighting goes, it looked like they were pretty much even. They were both getting really good hits in. They were both getting really good ki blasts off. Sometimes Beerus would win. Sometimes Goku would stop a blast or things like that. But if anybody had the edge, it was Beerus by just a little bit. But other than that, the fight looked almost completely even. Like I said, the only difference being that Goku burned out first. Not that his Super Saiyan God went away, because he still kept his power after that. It's just he just ran out of ki eventually, and Beerus had so much more to go through. Come to find out at the end, as they're flying off, as Beerus and Whis are flying off after the fight and everything, well, Whis calls Beerus out. He says, you just told Goku you were at 100% to see his 100% quicker, right? And then Beerus said, oh, you could tell I was holding back. With a quite like, okay, so Beerus was holding back the whole time, but they did it in a way that it wasn't as one-sided as it was in Battle of Gods, and I do really like that. That's one thing that I think Super got right. I really enjoy that, because Battle of Gods, like the fight scene were awesome. I thought they were really good, but you could always tell Beerus could end that fight whenever he wanted to. You could always tell Beerus was 100% rocking it the whole time. Beerus could dump on Goku whenever he felt like it. He was just making it a decent fight for the sake of that. But in Super, you got a completely different feel from that. So that's one thing I did enjoy a lot. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the Mr. Satan's hilarious. The most previous episode, like I said, it was 15 or 16. I think it was 16. It was hilarious because Mr. Satan tells a story about how he went Super Saiyan and beat the evil Lord Dragon, Snake Beerus. And it was really funny. And then he has to call in Goku to fight for him because some alien from another country wanted to fight him because he beat the God of Destruction. and Goku goes in to fight for him after Chi-Chi tells him he's not allowed to train anymore because Chi-Chi's the bitch we all remember. And then Chi-Chi walks by as Goku's about to fight. So he tells Mr. Satan, he's like, Mr. Satan, I don't want people here to know that I can fly. Hit me so I have a way out. Mr. Satan's like, what? And Goku's like, yeah, hit me in the face so I have a way out of here. And Satan's like, okay. And then he's like, Satan, punch. And he punches Goku in the face. And Goku just starts rolling backwards. And then he grabs his tractor on the way out because Satan was supposed to fix his tractor. And then he flies over a building. But it looked like he got hit. You got to see the scene, but it was really funny. It was something that was really funny. Other than that, no, that's all that I've caught up on. Obviously, I still need to read the manga, and I still need to see Fukatsu no F. I'm going out of town for the weekend. You guys are probably going to see this on a Saturday or something, but I'm out of town currently. However, when I get back, my plans are to watch Fukatsu no F and then read up to current on the Dragon Ball Super manga. I'm hoping to have a good. I'm assuming both those are going to be really good. I'm hoping to have a good time with that. But then after that, we can start seeing theory videos because the same reason I haven't seen Fukatsu no F. It's the same reason I haven't seen Super and wasn't doing videos on Super, because they were getting videos on that subject, were getting third-party claimed on my channel for no reason. Like I said, I'm in a situation now where that won't happen anymore, which is good. So I'm going to start making videos on Fukatsu no F. So I might be a little bit behind, but you might see some theory videos coming out of me. I haven't watched anybody else's theory videos or anything like that because I haven't seen the movies. It would be dumb to watch theory videos. But yeah, you might see some theory videos coming out of me in the future. Definitely more Dragon Ball Super videos, speculations, things like that, takeaways and whatnot coming out now that that can actually be something. I want to get back to reviewing the episodes. Like, this was just one giant review in a way. I want to get back to reviewing the Dragon Ball Super episodes. I don't know if I'm going to do them weekly or not, though. I'll probably do manga chapter reviews to see story developments and things like that. But I don't know if I want to do Dragon Ball Super weekly reviews. If the episode's got a lot in it, if it's jam-packed, if we're good to go, then maybe. Or maybe I'll crank out a review no matter what. It's just if the episode didn't really have a lot going on for it, they'll just be a shorter, like 2 to 3 minute review than my normal 5 to 10 to cover an episode. You know what I mean? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. My next, if I was going to do another video covering the Dragon Ball Super thus far, I would want to do a comparison video. Since the first arc is over and Beerus is gone now in Super, I would want to do a comparison video after I read the manga of which is better or what should you do if you're thinking about picking it up between the manga, Super, and Battle of Gods. I think that's something some people might be interested in. We'll have to see how it goes. Anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for me today, guys. I've rambled on a little too long. But I'm caught up on Super. Expect Dragon Ball Super content coming back to the channel now. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you happen to be new around here for whatever reason. As always, I'm Thundershot. I'm out, and I'll see you guys.